and feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts start the show. Let's go. Hit it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts start the show. Let's go. Hit it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Oh yeah, how are you guys doing this morning? I do have to say something before we get started too early this morning. Thank you last night, Debbie Baker, for the 5 gifted memberships. I hope that you get a chance to see this, because I totally just completely blanked last night and did not even recognize it until I finished up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just totally skipped over it. Sundays are a completely different story. I don't regularly look over at super chats. I totally missed that, and I'm so sorry about that. That was on me. So again, thank you, Debbie Baker, for the 5 gifted memberships. That was very kind of you, and I wanted to give her a big shout out, because she does so much just coming by and doing all that. And I had to go and look. I was like, oh my gosh, who was it that was on there that gave the super chat, and I just totally blanked on it. Sorry about that, Debbie. And then I also had some other people that were in there last night that were just doing wonderful, coming by and being so kind with their time. And I definitely want to give you guys a shout out, because you were there hanging out, enjoying everything. It was Heather May, Miss Peanut, and Robin. Thank you guys. You were like just absolutely doing wonderful. Thank you guys so much. And I'm sorry I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention in chat. And of course, you can always go back and watch last night's. It was an absolute blast. Had Yamaha Biker on, which he's always a joy to have on. He was able to take time out of his busy schedule and come and hang out with us. I love it. Love having that guy on. It makes it so much more fun. Oh my gosh. And of course, Dictionary Diva and Fall Storm, most definitely taking time out of your evening to come by. Thank you. And thank you. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Killdozer. Debbie. Oh my gosh. Happy. Love his laugh. Yes. And it absolutely kills me, Happy. And also had Jack Buck and Patty Cake and MQ. MQ is Broken Hearted and Bayou King and Stephen Farr and Richard. I'm not gonna I'm going to say Richard Y. I think that's Mary, if I'm not mistaken. That'll be, hey, Mary. AJ, aka Roxron, Denise. I had a couple of Denises in there. I think one was over on the Twitter, or on the other one. But yeah, most definitely, all you guys, thank you so much. It was wonderful seeing all of you there. Hey, good morning. Now, I don't always cover the news as much as I'd like to, and it does keep me a little bit out of the loop of what's going on. But this sort of happened over the weekend. Now, actually, it's probably been about a week. I think it was a while back. Now the White House loves to troll the people over on Blue Sky, and they did not too long ago. They got in there and were just like, well, here we go. This one's for you. It's like, this is pretty funny. I mean, it was a complete troll by the president's office. I can't play the music, but basically he says, "What's up, Blue Sky? We thought you might have missed some of our greatest hits, so we put this one together for you. Can't wait to spend more quality time together." And they just, they put music to it, had a whole bunch of stuff, and then show the White House, President Donald J. Trump. Now, you say, well, what exactly does that matter? Oh, okay, so they're out there, they're out there trolling Blue Sky. Well, Blue Sky doesn't really like it too much. There's quite a few people that whenever they joined that platform, they got this kind of thing right here that came showing up as soon as they posted. It was Blue Sky. Hi there, Blue Sky account has been assessed and spammy, fake, or inauthentic account. Your account was reviewed by Blue Sky. Content moderation was found to be in violation of our community guidelines. As a result, your account has been taken down. And see, this is what people were getting whenever they would come in there, and they would post something on Blue Sky because there was supposed to be so nice and kind, and then this is what a lot of people got all upset about it and said, well, how dare you come over our platform and do anything? Well, guys were on Twitter and they kept doing their thing on Twitter. Nobody stopped them or removed them for doing anything, but they decided to leave themselves, and they jumped out as much as they possibly can. They just said, no, we don't like what you have to say. Most people don't really care, but for some reason, it looks like the White House or the AP thought that was just enough. That was they thought it was a big enough story that they had to put it on there. And it says, White House joins Blue Sky and immediately trolls Trump opponents. The White House on Friday joined Blue Sky, the social media platform of choice of many of the left-leaning online world. In its inaugural post, the White House offered a sizzle reel of the administration's memes, trolls, and messages from President Donald Trump's 9 months since returning to office. The post appeared aimed at tweaking liberals. No, it was just saying, hey, you say anybody can be on here. The first post included mentions of the administration's executive order renaming the Gulf of Mexico. And as you saw, the House leader, Hakeem Jeffries, adorned in a sombrero with a fake mustache, of course. A stream of a photo and video from other big moments of the early going of Trump's second term. What's up, Blue Sky? The White House said in a message accompanying the video, we thought you might have missed some of our greatest hits, so we put it together for you. Can't wait to spend more quality time together. Disgruntled X users began flocking to Blue Sky after Elon Musk took over Twitter, known as X. Why would they do that? In 2022, and the platform reported a surge in new users late last year. Yeah, it took late last year. That remains a small compared to more established online spaces such as X, but it has emerged as an alternative for those looking for a different mood. The Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Homeland Security also launched Blue Sky accounts on Friday, and J.D. Vance joined Blue Sky in June. Trump's social media platform of choice is Truth Social. Trump is the biggest shareholder in Trump's media technology group, the company that owns Truth Social. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Trump loves to troll. I know, and it's just absolutely hilarious. I mean, if people haven't gotten it by now, it's just, well, that's what he does. He loves to just give out those little trolls. He can't help it. And why is that doing it? I know I should have that. Okay. Give me a second. I want to refresh this here because for whatever reason, everything. And there we go. And we're going to refresh because I am a VIP member over on PJ Media. There's a reason I joined PJ Media is because the AP really does not like me. But there is something that the PJ Media did, and what they did is they said all for conservatives. By conservatives, arm yourself with the truth, join the fight to save America today. And what they did is they set this up so you can go VIP, which is $12.47 the first year, $23.14 or $41.34. Fully ad-free web browsing, newsletters, THM News mobile app, access to exclusive columns, reporting, and videos, podcasts from your favorite conservatives, access to the commenting across the entire town hall media, directly support town hall's conservative journalism. Martina, thank you so much. Yeah. See, you get that right there. Over here. Good morning and welcome, Martina. Thank you for joining. Lisa Farr, Shizzy. Now, if you want to keep up with this, that's absolutely fine. There is no pressure on you. I'm showing this because they've done really good by allowing me to put out in news and information that comes a little bit more from the left. Yes, I might be more left leaning, but AP really pisses me off, and I hate fact checking them every 5 minutes with their garbage. The AP has put out some of the worst news stories that don't tell you the whole thing, and it's usually backed by people that work for them or subsidiaries of them or donate money to the AP to keep it up and running. Not saying that AP is all bad, but it just tends to miss a lot of things, as I'll show here in just a second. For example, New York Republicans suspend young Republicans group after release of offensive group chat. Albany, New York. New York's Republican State Committee on Friday suspended a young Republican organization following the release of a group chat that included jokes about graping and flippant commentary on gas chambers. Yes, as they should. They should suspend them and have a lot to say about them. In a statement, New York Republican Committee says leaders had voted unanimously to suspend the authorization of New York State young Republicans, more like it, to operate at a statewide level. Statewide Republican Committee said the young Republican group could be reconstituted at a later date. It was already grossly mismanaged, and vile language of the sort that made the group chat has no place in our party or a subsidiary organization, said New York GOP Chair Ed Cox. The decision came days after Politico released exchanges from a Telegram conversation between leaders and members of the Young Republican National Federation and some of its affiliates in the New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. The messages have drawn heavy criticism from Republicans and Democrats. The Young Republicans National Federation, which is the GOP's political organization for Republicans between 18 and 40, has said it was appalled by the messages. U.S. Representative Elise Stefanik, a New York Republican who is eyeing a run for governor next year, has called those involved to step down, as they should, because it's spelled Cox right. Yes, it is. C-O-X. C-O-X is correct. That is absolutely correct. But, these are the kinds of things that AP used to cover. They used to cover stories that were more unbiased. And I noticed over the past two presidential elections that they got to be more politically leaning towards one side. And I was like, yeah, I started doing fact checks on them, like looking up the actual people that were their special writers or their unknowns, their the doctors that they were quoting, and finding out that a lot of these companies were part of a bigger scheme of people. They weren't doing this alone. Conspiracy theorist I am, or whatever you might want to call it, I didn't see any usefulness in using the AP for their news just for that reason. It's because they would leave out so much stuff that was pretty important. And that being said, let's get into a couple of these stories that I had here. Leaving MAGA, the cult escape kit the left won't write for its own. Imagine yourself on family vacation, walking into a gift shop in the middle of a carnival funhouse. The mirrors tilt, lights flash. One booth hands out red caps like Mardi Gras beads and calls it patriotism. Then on your left, you spot a smiling kiosk calling Leaving MAGA across the aisle, claiming to rescue you from the funhouse. I'm giving a huge hat tip towards my lovely wife, ever the intrepid internet spelunker who dove into the swirling funhouse of web pages so I could pull this piece out without getting disoriented. If you combine AA with political conversation therapy minus the coffee and sincerity, you get Leaving MAGA, a support network for those escaping Trump's cult. According to their website, the nonprofit empowers others to leave MAGA and tell their stories. Translation: confess, repent, and rejoin polite society, the cult that cried cult. It's the simplest premise. If you voted for Trump, cheered for lowering taxes, or wore the red hat in public, then you've been brainwashed by toxic, deceptive, and damaging movement, or so the founders insist. As an old curmudgeon, I find it funny how the left seems to find ways to insult half the country, labeling it as dangerous, gullible, or unstable. LM offered a step-by-step recovery plan, starting with their free ebook, because nothing heals political trauma like a 52-page PDF. Conversation stories from the section they left MAGA are testimonials that read like religious tracts. The section movement leaders guides others out of the darkness, where there's hope of reconciliation with family members, which you're hearing faintly in the background as an organ leading an angelic choir. Founder Rich Logis, or something like that, admits he is being captivated by MAGA Nation for 7 whole years. He was a devoted member of MAGA Nation for 7 years. It made me feel like I was part of something important movement that was trying to save American democracy. There is no American democracy. It is never meant to be a democracy. It's meant to be a republic. This is why you probably did not fit in really well with America. Because if anybody understands anything about MAGA, it has a meaning. It's talking about America, making America great again. That is the point of MAGA. It wasn't all about Trump. It wasn't all about anybody else. It was a slogan to say, hey, trying to make America great once again, to get back where we used to be, back to some basic courtesy, founding principles, smaller government. The things that everybody has been screaming for is downsize the damn government, because it wastes too much money on so much stuff that it doesn't need to be doing, and it's bloated beyond all belief. And it's amazing whenever government steps out of the way and allows people to do things that they want to do, within the law, that it becomes a much calmer, more peaceful society. But there's too many people that don't like it because they want to be Karens working in an HOA. It just gets ridiculous, because I'm going to show you something about that in a minute. Now, it started in 2021. I realized I had been mistaken. It took me a full year to finally break away. During that time, I came to understand that MAGA is sustained by a series of myths that are intended to create perpetual feelings of desperation and panic. Nope, not at all. It's not about desperation, not about panic. Succumbing to these predatory myths does not mean that you're unintelligent, weak, or lack good character and morals. I have a bachelor's degree. I've been working professional my entire life. I am a family man, consider myself relatively honest and intelligent person. I think the same about you. That's good. I like what this guy's saying there. I understand the reasons that you have for supporting MAGA. I know many of us traveled different paths to get here. I gravitated to Donald Trump because I've always been suspicious of our two-party system. I saw him as the right man at the right time. I have a sense that some of you quietly left MAGA already are increasingly regretful, confused, and scared. All of us can be doubly upsetting since some of your sincerity held beliefs that have alienated you from friends and family. No. Born in an HOA. I was born in an HOA. Now, somewhere, a left-wing PR firm nodded proudly and handed him the keys to the redemption narrative, the virtues branding. Now, the professional design of the website, soothing colors, soft fonts, plenty of white, privileged space, nearly transforms the content into something spiritual. Paragraphs beam with enlightened benevolence, with one word appearing often, love, as if that alone redeems the political arrogance beneath it. By offering inner peace, clarity, healing, leaving MAGA is less of a movement of persuasion and more of a mass therapy session for people who need the feelings of moral superiority. It's an irony that writes itself. You don't build an entire organization around saving others from their wrongthink unless you believe you're among the chosen few. Now imagine the mirrored version. Here's a quick game of what about. Imagine the outrage if a conservative nonprofit launched Leaving Left. Survivors of campus indoctrination would be featured with testimonials from ex-Antifa members if the organization exists, along with a hotline for parents whose kids join socialist book clubs. Progressives would lose a large portion of their collective minds. The New York Times would publish a 6-part series of think pieces about racial deprogramming less than 2 days later. Yet here we are sitting in front of a straight-faced liberal crusade designed to rescue Americans from voting Republican. The left calls MAGA cultish, but what is more cultish than assigning hearsay to dissent? All at once, the pot is officially called the kettle a threat to democracy. It's always about control. Now, leaving MAGA's language follows the left's favorite psychological trick, pathologizing opposition. Don't debate it or diagnose it. Label your political opponent as emotionally damaged goods and then sell therapy as a cure. The goal isn't dialogue, it's conversation. It's conversion. The maddening part is how they frame this effort in a way to heal the nation. Sorry about that. I had to cough really bad. My volume may be way down. Let me see if I can bring it up a little bit, see if that doesn't make it a little bit clear. Does that seem to be better? I'll bring it all the way up. Somehow that doesn't seem like it's helping at all. Let me change something here. Give me a second. And that might make it a little bit clearer. Okay. Maybe. Now, the short guide for real conversations, a simple way of reaching someone who sees the world differently is following these 4 steps. Listen first. Ask questions, don't accuse. 3, respect the conviction comes from experience, not manipulation. 4, remember the goal. It's connection, not conversion. Using the same condensation that broke the relationship in the first place, leaving MAGA sells the illusion of reconciliation. You're not building a bridge when the first step towards unity is diagnosing the other side as sick. You're just laying bricks for a wall. Now, the real cult is one that sees salvation in censorship and virtue in conformity. The tribe recycling slogans like defending democracy while canceling speech, celebrating a movement where each defection from MAGA is like a religious revival that doesn't tolerate humor or dissent in its own pews. Now, for years, pundits have always highlighted the left's projection. Leaving MAGA is no different. It says more about the left's insecurities than about the people they claim to save. The thought of millions of Americans thinking for themselves, voting their hearts, refusing to kneel at the altar of enlightenment turns what ordinary would be intelligent people into blathering mobs of fools and idiots. Now, as a final thought, if you genuinely care about someone standing under the carnival lights of MAGA and really ready to toss confetti and wave flags, remember there's no need to drag them into a rescue dinghy from leaving MAGA. Instead, walk side by side through the mirrors, point out how the reflections don't match who they are. Quietly show them the door out of the fun house and wait for them to decide to walk out. Because the real escape isn't sold at any kiosk. When the lights stop flashing and the disorientation fades, what's left is simply truth you can't package or preach. People see clearly on their own. Conviction, once tested by mockery or manipulation, either hardens or purifies. In that quiet moment when the carnival noise dies down, no one needs a brochure to tell them what freedom feels like. One very true thing is how Leaving Magus founders mastered irony. They built a movement to free people from cults while preaching their own, warning of blind devotion while bowing to a creed of worshiping self-righteousness. If I live long enough to see a Leaving Left, I'd download it for the same reason people slow down at car wrecks, simply can't look away. Leaving MAGA is what happens when smugness prints a mission statement and calls it mercy. Bless the wife's patience. She finds these oddities in this digital wilderness, while I just bring the flashlight, because when the dust settles, those who preach deliverance are usually the ones who built the damn maze in the first place. Welcome to the fun house. Yes, it is. It is a fun house. It is an absolute fun house. And I think somebody just joined, and appreciate you. I always hear the music and then don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Thank you so much. Just asking for it now. Well, and I have something that I wanted to show you guys because I thought it was absolutely hilarious whenever I saw it. Now, the images are from something else, but the language is from something completely different because I laughed, and it'll probably end up being deleted, so you'll have to watch it here and only hear it first. It's this one right here. Here we go. This is badass. I love who did this.
A farm is not part of the HOA's property! An HOA is suing a nearby family farm for damaging the value of their property, even though the farm was there first. According to a Reddit post by the farm's 6th generation owner, the farm next to him was sold to a developer who built a bunch of mini mansions that back right up to his farm. So the HOA insists it has the right to inspect his farm even though it's not on their property, and files weekly complaints about the owner's equipment and outbuildings. The problem, of course, is that a tractor is not an abandoned old car on blocks in a driveway. It's an active piece of farm equipment. The field is being worked. The tractor is necessary. And also, the farm is not on the HOA's property. Nevertheless, the HOA has trespassed on the farmer's land multiple times, including to inspect a barn to make sure it met HOA rules. Rules it is not subject to, because I cannot stress this enough, the farm is not on the HOA's property! But the HOA is now fining the farmer $1,000 a day anyway until he removes the offending structures and machinery. Naturally, when the farmer sent a threat back, the HOA lost its mind and called the county sheriff, which in turn informed them that, say it with me, the farm is not part of the HOA's property!
Good morning, Gippy. Good morning, Good morning, Tracy Spencer. For a party that claims to be inclusive, they don't seem to like me much. You know, it is if you don't have the right thing. And I've talked to people on both sides, and I will tell you that even on both sides of the aisle, there's people that are extremists on both sides. And you have to have here's where it becomes really important. No matter what your belief is, left or right, it's your belief and your conviction. Stand for your conviction. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a good thing to be able to have a discussion, because it's not always just about changing your mind, but showing those HOAs are nuts. Yes, they are. What? What the what? Yes, these HOAs are nuts. Born in an HOA. Hard to see the other side's point of view with your head up your ass. Exactly. It really is. And that's the biggest thing about it. Be solid in your convictions. If you have solid convictions, then what other people believe doesn't affect them. Hope he sues them harassment, whatever else they pissed him off about. I hope they do too, Stephen Farr. I really do. And I mean, that really is the biggest takeaway that I can give to anybody. Like I've told people before, my wife is liberal, and it doesn't matter. I mean, we just don't talk about politics on certain things, and whenever we do, we just give it a little laugh. Karen clubs, exactly. Exactly. But it's hard for people to understand that we can have differing opinions and still get along just fine. There's certain things you're not going to change her mind about, just like there's certain things you're not going to change my mind about. And it happens, unlike this psycho.
He is married to a woman of Indian descent.
Yes.
He has mixed race children.
Yes.
So to all of the MAGA voters out there, if this man will not defend his wife and will not defend his kids, do you think he gives a crap about you or anything to do with you? He is.
I had to play that twice because I was like, this lady didn't just say what I think she just said. That was so wrong on so many levels. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me that there's people that actually believe that. They actually believe that crap. No, it's just wrong in so many different ways. Like, hey, Prince of Wales. Good morning. That was horrible. You deserve another timeout. What's the what now? Yeah. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But of course, I'm sure that you guys heard about the No King's Day or something crap like that happened. And we'll get into that. It's not something I really care to cover because it was ridiculous. Here we go. This came in from Long Crime. Judge drags Trump admin into court for emergency hearing after credible sources say layoffs will constitute despite restraining orders. Okay. Donald Trump speaks before Steve Witkoff and a sworn special envoy during a ceremony in the Oval Office of the White House in Washington. Okay. A federal judge in California will haul the Trump administration into court for an emergency hearing on Friday afternoon amid concerns that several thousand federal workers may be laid off in the coming days, a direct violation of temporary restraining order. I'm just curious. Now, I mean, I may not be the smartest man in the world, which, everybody will agree to this. But since when does a judge have say over who the president has there or not? I'm just curious. Hey, Kippy, blame Jeremy. Yeah, blame Jeremy. It's all his fault. Doggone it. I'm just curious. When does the government actually have say so over its own employees? Now, the nature of the hearing reflects a series of quick moves and counter moves by parties in the already dramatic litigation. I don't think it's that dramatic. On Wednesday, in a bench ruling, U.S. District Judge Susan Ilston, a Bill Clinton appointee, blocked the government from issuing so-called reductions in force. Give me a second. I mean, these people work on the behest of the president. I mean, there's certain things that a judge that a president is not allowed to do, but I'm pretty positive that him cutting down the workforce of the federal government is something he's allowed to do. Yeah, these federal judges think they are the kings. Well, and I mean, I understand where they're trying to do certain things, but that's not. If I'm not mistaken, the three parts of our government are very very much dead set on a certain way. But okay, I'm an idiot. Aimed at cutting the number of federal employees, later the court issued a 7-page order outlining the terms of the relief, elaborating the judge rationale for barring the mass layoffs. 7-page order. Okay. If the plaintiff's allege is true, then the agency's action in laying off thousands of public employees during the government shutdown and targeting the RAF, those programs are perceived as favored by a particular political party. That's not how it works. Is the epitome of hasty, arbitrary, and capricious decision-making? No, it's something that they've probably already thought about way ahead of time. I would venture to say that that's probably how they've done this. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this was thought about long beforehand. On Thursday, the prospect of such layoffs being carried out in spite of Wednesday's court order was raised in a motion filed by American Federation of Government Employees, which represent thousands of federal workers assigned to various federal agencies. Don't care. If I'm not mistaken, they're not allowed to shoot. Yeah, I'm medium smart. I'm not even that. Thank you, though. Let's face it, we're all idiots. Oh, I'm the biggest idiot. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. The plaintiff warned the Department of the Interior DOI could effectively ignore Ilston's temporary restraining order and move ahead with widespread reduction in force notices this coming Monday, October 20th. The motion cites multiple credible sources which claim DOI's plan to move forward with such firings regardless. So look for today. They'll be firing some people. In an accompanying declaration filed by one of the attorneys representing the labor union, there you go. Like I said, the unions are a little outrageous here. Early on October 16, 2025, counsel for the plaintiffs learned from multiple credible sources the U.S. Department of Interior was actively preparing a large-scale reduction in force to terminate thousands of employees. Yes, this immediately raised concerns regarding compliance with this court's order because the court doesn't have any standing in it. Just saying, they don't have any standing. Every single term, think about this, every single president since, I don't know, ever, has come into office. Whenever they come into office, they can reduce the workforce because their mission goals may not be what is the mission goals of the United States of the government. Yes, labor unions and the HOAs, the business world. They're not there. They are federal employees. Thus, they are under federal employment standards. If the federal government, our president, and his cronies, people, whatever it might be, they can walk in and they can remove people from office because it is not an elected damn position. If it's an elected position, that's completely different. You can get rid of you could shut down the entire government by firing every single person that's a federal employee. They are under the president's discretion. They don't seem to understand this. The court, judge, they can't come in and fire a judge. They can't get rid of federal judges. That's something they can't do. Now, according to plaintiffs' attorneys, these concerns were raised directly with the U.S. Department of Justice on Thursday email, but the AFGE says DOI declined to show their hand in response, which they don't have to. Counsel for the defense did not confirm or deny the RAF plans or provide the requested information to confirm compliance with this court's TRO, because this court does not handle the government. It is not in charge of government employees. The DOJ's lawyer allegedly wrote back, counsel, consistent with the court's order, we will produce the required information tomorrow if we want to. Notably, Ilston gave the government until 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to account for all the actual or imminent RAFs enjoined by her order and verify compliance with the order. The government has also that time to provide a description of the agency that imposed or is planning to impose the RAF, the number of employees included in the enjoined RF, as well as description of the programs, projects, or activities included in the enjoined RF. In their emergency motion, the plaintiff said they have no choice but to ask the court to advance the deadline for disclosure of planned RF and the manner in which the defendants intend to comply. In court, the court in turn advanced the deadline as requested. The deadline for disclosure and the manner in which the defendants intend to comply with the TRO is advanced from October 17th until October 17th. At 11 a.m. The emergency hearing is slated for 3 p.m. on Friday. Don't know what happened. The underlying 30th litigation was filed by a labor union. I guess it's for the 30th of whatever. Reduce agency workforce during the government shutdown. That memo issued days before the shutdown began signaled that any such layoffs appeared to be pre-planned and the court considered them political in nature. Well, you don't just you don't just fire somebody without planning it. You don't walk in there and say, you're fired. Why are you firing me? Just a pre-plan. You know, it's a good thing they're not in Georgia because Georgia has a right to work. Like they also have a right to fire you without reason. They don't have to give you a reason to fire you. It's a screwed up situation, but they can come in and say, we're letting you go at any time they want to. And also the good part about that is you can leave anytime you want to. You also don't have to pay any union dues. In the order granted that requested injunctive relief, the court said the prevalence of many snafus committed by the government and outlined by the plaintiffs are a testament to the APA violations. Now, thank God my son's an engineer, civil servant for the Navy. Well, and that's the other thing. He could easily be let go by the Navy. Like they could come in and get rid of him at any point in time, although there is a contract that he signed that, if he's there, then he's already there. I mean, what more do you need to say? I mean, it reminds me of this story that we covered the other day, and I wanted to show this to you once again. This is D. Sparks coming out of jail.
Welcome back, homie. Good? Let's see your prison ink. I hated that. Asshole, come here, guy. Oh. That was rough. That was rough. Yeah. That sucked. I'm glad you made it out.
Yeah. If you don't know what that's all about, go back and watch a couple streams back, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about on that one. That one was Heavy D from the Diesel Brothers. They was thrown in jail for contempt of court because they were demanding, the other side was demanding that he show items that he already had showed them multiple times. Yeah. And he was absolutely justified in not giving them any damn thing that he had already given them multiple times. It's a very interesting story, and I would suggest, if you haven't, go and check that out. Yeah, as long as you're able to paint, scrape, and mop, the Navy will never let go. Exactly, never. That's so true. It's the same way with all of them. Now, as I said, here we go. Got this next one. PR dictions, PR ejections, PR raise, and PR redditors. No Kings Fallout and Mental Breaks from Reality by Scott Pinsker. One of the bartenders at my favorite neighborhood pub is a 20-something-year-old knucklehead with a deviously sly sense of humor. He's a kind, big-hearted kid. I generally like him a lot, but he's also a committed communist socialist. Oh my gosh, got some wood coming for a fire pit. It's awesome. He's a big, kind-hearted kid. Generally like him a lot, but he's also committed socialist communist who hates Trump, hates capitalism, thinks Soren Mandini is a pretty much a moderate. We've had some interesting political conversations, mostly with him keeping his laptop open. From his perspective, everything I say is so wacky and bizarre, he uses Google to make sure I'm not lying. Last week, we did not talk about politics. A family member of mine is going through a mental health crisis that I couldn't figure out how to deal with, so the bartender revealed something about his past that I didn't know. When he was in high school, his dad self-deleted. His family tried their best to navigate the fallout, but somewhere along the way, he had a break with reality. He began obsessing over the details of his father's passing, and in his grieving, broken mind, he reached the conclusion that his dad's birthday and his dad's death day were all linked to Bible verses. And those Bible verses were what compelled his father to take his own life. Then, when the bartender began applying his own birthday and his mom's birthday to this nonsensical Bible math, he realized that he needed to remove himself on a specific date to rejoin his dad. His mom had to do it a few weeks later. He even wrote a note for his mom for her to find the day after he died, in which he explained what and when dad needed her to do next. Thank God his mom found the note before anything happened. She dragged him out of school, immediately placed him in an in-house medical facility. He told me the first few days were deeply frustrating. Scott, I'm trying to show them how the math worked, and they keep looking at me like I'm crazy, but in my head, this all made perfect sense. He said there wasn't a singular aha moment where the dam cracked and suddenly realized he was delusional. Instead, it was a gradual process of tearing down the walls of despair, one stubborn brick at a time. And eventually, over time, enough bricks were removed that the sunlight poured it through again, illuminating his darkness. The human mind is extraordinary. Given enough time, it can calculate anything and everything. That's because humans are the most preposterous anomaly anywhere in the universe. We're the mating of God's divine spark, a limitless immortal soul with muck, mud, and waste. Simultaneously, we reflect both grandeur of God and the filth of mud. We're a walking contradiction. A mind that is capable of praising the heavens, writing poetry, dividing the atom, is also capable of torturing its host to the point of death. For whatever reason, we're uniquely susceptible to illusions. Each night, our subconscious casts one illusion after another, and most of the time, we don't recognize it for what it is until we wake up. Sadly, some never do. If my mom didn't find that note, he told me, I absolutely wouldn't be here right now. I know it doesn't make sense, Scott, but I was so convinced I was right. Our brains don't like to admit when they're wrong. All illusions, big and small, are deadly real to the host. If you challenge them too aggressively, you lose them forever. That's a huge challenge for a political PR because our objective is winning the hearts and minds. We're in the business of persuasion. Some voters are very open to new ideas. Others have built large, thick walls around themselves, preventing anything scary from ever reaching their ears. Now, to win the next election, we've got to focus on the persuadable audience. They're our target, the folks who will listen and give our message a chance. That doesn't mean the unpersuadable audience should be ignored. No one should be ignored, not when you truly believe that you're right. But it does mean you've got to be realistic. And sometimes the best you can hope for is loosening a brick or two. The rest of the wall will take time and maybe prayer. Now, the prediction yesterday on Lee Harvey Oswald's birthday, the anti-Trumpers took to the streets for their No Kings protest. It was a high-wire act for the radical left. It spiraled into BLM-style rioting, looting, arson, and murder. The Dems would have been tarred and feathered as violent anti-American anarchists. We're in a post-Charlie Kirk world. Political violence isn't theoretical anymore. It's becoming increasingly commonplace and increasingly excused by angry, bitter leftists. So the grand poobahs of the Democrat Party must be breathing a sigh of relief. For the most part, No Kings rallies were peaceful. Most of the people waved American flags. Only a minority were running around with Mexican, Palestinian, or LGBTQ plus A and LMNOP. Mother Jones actually had an amusing antecedent about protesters and the U.S. flag. A woman chimed in. She wanted to share what other members of the group had said her earlier. I never bought an American flag before, and this is what it's come to. We all laughed. And one of them added, this is important to show that we love America too. Sure, it's all performative, but performative still counts. It's showbiz, babe. All in all, it went about as well as they could have hoped for, except one little detail. What's the deal with some of these old people? The No King rallies were like a recent pro-Hamas parades of 23 and 24 and the 2020 BLM riots, where millions of young kids took to the streets and harassed Jews, burnt property, attacked cops, murdered civilians, blah, blah, blah. Instead, this was an event populated, orchestrated by overage boomers and aging hippies. In political theater, throngs of enthusiastic, passionate people were worth their weight in gold, and they convey a level of excitement and confidence in the future. It's why politicians have to surround themselves with boisterous, free, cheering youngsters. Old people protesting, however, communicate something different: fear of change, a lack of faith in the future, and a tired, hackneyed attempt to relive once again the cliches of the 60s. Now, Pinker's law of PR, number 2, most people don't know what they think about until you tell them. The Trump PR team must define the post-No Kings narrative as laughable, pathetic attempt of old geriatric farts who won't take a hint and leave the stage, just as NBC has the oldest audience in cable news. The No Kings rallies were basically a live version of the Golden Girls, only far less funny, and everyone here looked like Sophia Petrillo. Now, defining events before they happen sets expectations, but defining them afterwards is usually far more meaningful. Now, President Trump excels at this. I suspect he'll be reading quite a bit about it on Truth Social this week. PR projection. When I get it wrong, I gotta fess up. Originally, I thought the government shutdown would last about 10 days, reasoning that Chuck Schumer would side with his corporate donors and or money men, opting for something more performative and less draconian than permanently freezing the federal government, which, to be fair, is where Schumer typically lands. I should have known that one thing Schumer values even more than money is his own political future, which means as long as AOC is breathing down his neck and threatening to primary his seat, Schumer will gladly let the nation fall off the cliff. He's just too gosh darn important, you know? The shutdown is probably going to get worse before it gets better. Now, some praise to the essay, The Great Fermentation by Helen Andrews. It's a phenomenal read and offers a compelling theory. Wokeness is a code for feminization as it institutes, becomes majority female, and inevitably reaching a tipping point that codifies, expects, and mandates woke behavior. And I'm not going to read the expert, but you can. I don't buy all of her argument, but she's got a lot more right than she got wrong. It's a hell of an essay. Predators, the No Kings rallies were exceptionally political views, explicitly political views. The entire point was to attack, belittle, galvanize support against Donald Trump and the Republican Party. So what's the deal with all these non-political and non-for-profit charities getting involved in a bare-knuckle partisan politics? They call it No Kings. But they built this empire of tax-exempt organizations doing the Democrats' party's work for the taxpayers' dime. Now, following the money on these organizations, they're using every excuse in the book, from immigration to Israel to rage bait America, but there's nothing charitable about their professional protest empire, and they should be investigated for fomenting so much hate in America behind the shield of charity work. And that's why I don't read the AP anymore. Because the AP has been hiding behind all of that. Remember what happened in Atlanta during the Civil War? They seem to be pressing their luck. Well, Atlanta is nothing to speak of, really. I will tell you, it has gone crazy. And I was looking to see if there was anything. And like I said, I could really care less about these rallies. I don't go to rallies mainly because I just don't like being around groups of people. But this is one reason why I enjoyed this right here. While the No Kings crowd protests, these dogs celebrate faith and freedom. As the No Kings morons practice political theater in the left-wing enclaves across the country, most of us are living our lives as normal here in the South. That includes tailgating at college football games. I don't know how many tailgates take place at the University of Georgia every home Saturday, but there are a couple of dozen just in the area where our tailgate group hangs out. But one tailgate that took place about 3/4 of a mile from me got my attention enough to warrant a visit. I saw a social media post for Turning Point USA's tailgate at Myers Quad through the week and thought it might be cool to check out. Now, the Freedom Zone is pulling up to UGA College game day this Saturday, and you don't want to miss it. Come represent the movement, celebrate the dogs, and help keep Charlie's legacy alive in the boldest way possible. Show us your student section ticket and get a Freedom t-shirt to wear to the game. Now, Turning Point USA advertised free Freedom t-shirts to any student who showed volunteers their student tickets. Volunteers would also be around to help younger people register to vote. After hanging out at my usual tailgate spot for a couple hours, I decided to go check out their tailgate. It wasn't as big as expected, just a couple of tents, but the buzz around it was electric. Volunteers registered people to vote. Entire families are around to check out stickers and shirts. And I even got a shirt without a student ticket, which is so nice because I haven't had a student ticket in 30 years. I spoke to a couple of people at the tailgate to see what drew them there and what Charlie Kirk's legacy means to them. Banks McCommons, who will be a freshman at UGA in the spring, said that he appreciated what Kirk was doing and loved that Turning Point USA was continuing his legacy. What I'd like to see personally is just everybody becoming a Charlie Kirk. McCommons told me just talking, just debating. When people stop talking, that's when the problems start, and everybody is afraid to talk. McCommons said that Kirk's faith inspired him. Charlie was an inspiration to me because as a Christian, I love that he spread the gospel like he did. He said, and that's pretty inspirational, just him being open with his faith like he was. Skylo, volunteer who gave me the shirt, told me that she started a high school chapter of Turning Point USA. She said that conservatism has always been part of her life. While I've always been conservative, I grew up in a conservative household, I decided to take things into my own hands and make myself uncomfortable and put myself in these positions because that's what helps people grow. Skylar said that she believes that Kirk lit a fire that will continue to burn brightly. She told me that the conservative movement is only getting bigger. There's so many people I've seen on X and everywhere. People are going to church for the first time. People are getting Bibles for the first time. I truly believe that this was Charlie's purpose on earth. Everything leading up to this moment to where he died. This is why it just means so much. And that was his purpose. And that's what God wanted him to do. Henry Smith, a pre-med student studying biomedical psychology, told me that his main reason for stopping by the tailgate was to pick up one of the freedom shirts that Kirk sported so often. Kirk's boldness on social issues caught Smith's attention. I love that he never backed down on the conservative social side. I feel like a lot of modern Republicans, they sort of give leeway in that area. They just sort of fight over lower taxes, whereas Charlie, he wasn't afraid to fight against abortion or against transgenderism. Smith said he was looking forward to 2028. He's curious to see who emerges as a GOP presidential frontrunner. I'll be interested to see what the battleground looks like in 2028. If JD or Marco Rubio. He told me, I really don't know. If I had to guess, it'd probably be JD, but I'm really not sure. Smith also says he takes inspiration from Kirk's faith, relationship with his family, his wife, Erica, and his 2 kids. That was super inspiring. I've seen a lot of podcasts and stuff with him, and just the way he treated them and the way he prioritized them is really cool. Seeing not just young people hanging out at TPUSA, folks, but also an entire families was encouraging. It was marked contrast to the No Kings Yahoos I saw as I was driving home for the game, the crowd that was mostly boomers. I have plenty of reasons to be excited about the future of conservatism. Authors note the feature photo on this article is our tailgate from a few weeks ago. I didn't get any photos of the Turning Point USA tailgate, but and that's what I was telling somebody this weekend was that's I bet there were plenty of Queens protests. There might have been, and that's what I try to tell everybody is I don't really care what your political persuasion is. As long as you don't care what mine is, it don't matter. We're all stuck on this same, ball that's spinning through the universe at thousands of miles an hour, and who knows what else is beyond that we're spinning in. Some sort of petri dish of putrid something or other, but we're all here, so might as well not go hurting one another. I mean, I could be wrong. Lefty, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day and looking forward to another fun week, because I guarantee you this week is going to be fun. We have some interesting stuff coming up. In case you don't know, Mo and I won't be doing a Disturb this evening because we decided to cut it back to do it just every couple of weeks. So we won't do one this week, but and it might be a couple of weeks before we do another one on top of that, just because I've got to be doing some really important stuff over the next couple of weeks at the end of the month. Maybe it is this week. I'll have to double check with Mo. I can never remember my own schedule. What I need is like a calendar that I can physically look at. Because if I put it on my computer, I'll never look at it. Then I'll forget to update it. Hey, cowboy, how you doing? What's up, Zach? I mean, here's something that I think needs to be shown on a regular basis, because this is always an important message. Just so you guys know, I don't believe democracy is good.
Democracy is a form of government based upon the principle of majority rule, period. End of discussion. Now, that's not very complicated. Majority rule. It's easy to understand, easy to sell to the masses, and I might add, deadly. For example, what would you call a lynch mob? That's majority rule. There's only one dissenting vote, and he's at the end of the rope. Now, that's pure democracy in action. But wait a minute, you say. The majority should rule, yes, but not to the extent of destroying the rights of the minority. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer describing a democracy. We are speaking of a republic. A republic is a limited democracy. It's a form of government based upon the principle of limited majority rule. Limited so that the minority, even a minority of one, can be protected against the whims and passions of the majority. And how do you protect the minority from the majority? You write down a set of rules on a piece of paper. You say, this we can do, that we cannot. At the top of the paper, you write the word Constitution. And then everyone agrees to follow the rules no matter what the temptation. And when you're finished, you've created a constitutional republic.
Boom. Every single time that hits it right there. Lefty, what's up? So, Progressive Southpaw. Hey, we love Lefty. We know, and like I said, we talk politics over here sometimes, but that is what our channel is all about at all. I like to look at things and laugh at them and find the silliness of certain things. Because that's what I do. I just can't help myself. It is a unique skill. Yeah, Sherry, exactly. Oh, West Coast, West Coast, Oregon business owners brag about mobbing and detaining border cops. Now, Victoria Taft is absolutely wonderful. I enjoy a lot of her writing. Now, welcome to the West Coast, West Coast Update, your weekly look at the most interesting and meaningful stories that make news in Washington, Oregon, California can fit. Washington releases a high-level predatory offender rather than put him on the PDF island where he can't hurt anyone. In California, the Fed's investigation into billions of missing homeless money gives us a hint at how the scams work to fleece the state taxpayers and how little oversight there was. Oregon business owners show videos of themselves and the mob surrounding border agents and then brag about it. Let's get at it. Our comrades, it takes a considerable amount of hubris to smugly confess multiple felonies to your adoring online fans and everyone else. But it's Oregon, where people so certain of their righteous freedoms believe that there will be no repercussions for their lawbreaking. In such a case with this Hillsborough couple, Kylie and Cameron Delgado, who own the 649, a tap house and restaurant. The 649 name is a slang term that means everything from taking shots of booze to taking a chance on the lottery. The couple identifies multiple times as Antifa on their Facebook page, and not in the humorous way the left has adopted since the word went out that Antifa doesn't exist. I reported on the fiery but mostly peaceful crowd that claims Antifa is an urban legend. Well, Kelly Delgado posted videos showing her and her comrades, as she called them, blocking in what she thought were ICE agents. The officers were from the Border Patrol. The couple and others surrounded the car and demanded to see the agents' badges and their warrants. Now, someone put X on her videos together to give you a better idea how terrified the officers probably were, since one of the cars that surrounded had to drive over bushes and were believed to be 6 feet tall to get away from the mob. And if you don't believe it, here it is.
We can play. My car's bigger than yours.
Yeah. I'll turn off the music because I don't want to have any music.
Let me record. Get behind them if you have a car. If you have a car, please pull behind them. It's ICE. Can you pull behind them? It's ICE. They're trying to kidnap people. Please pull behind them. Please pull behind them and park. Please.
Can you imagine doing this to somebody? Glad I live in Australia, land that doesn't exist. Exactly. Exactly. Just like the Ten Commandments. Democracy. We're two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine you're just trying to go about your day and you've got
please
somebody doing this?
Can you put your car behind them, please? It's ICE. Put your car there. They're gonna move. Hurry, please. Hurry.
Could you
Put
picture
your
it?
car sideways, please.
This guy's just trying to go about his day. They're blocking someone in. This guy in a red car has flashing lights on there like a police officer. Yeah.
Dumb bitches. You're not going anywhere.
Could you imagine the insanity that somebody has to be doing? Clean up your damn car, lady. Just
Can
awful.
you guys block the road, please, so they can't get out?
This is unacceptable. What she's doing is technically kidnapping. Yeah. Yeah, this is the attitude of some people.
We have them blocked in, but we need more cars. Look at these losers. 2, 3.
He's on the radio right now, probably calling for backup. There's probably a Smash Capitalism sticker on the back of that car with about $90 worth of Starbucks trash in her car. Exactly. Slightly true. Need to arrest her for interference. Well, and you have to understand that you know, this would happen in certain states. In Georgia, this would not be allowed. Just and a little FYI, don't try this in Georgia. This right here is a really bad idea because your car is an extension of your home. And whenever somebody is doing this and they're threatening you, you have every right to let the boomsticks
2 of them in the car.
Yeah, this doesn't happen in Georgia. Kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and you see they've got cars with blinking lights on them over here. I believe that those are just LEDs that they have there, and they may not be actually flashing. It's just there because LEDs blink really fast, like super fast. There's a possibility that that's what it is.
There was 3 in there. I called the cops on them earlier.
Yeah, this is not behavior that should be accepted anywhere. Kelly Tagato and one of her friends, our lucky officers, just tried to get away, didn't feel like they'd have to shoot their way out. They probably would have been well within their rights to do so. Here she is explaining how others should do the same. This is Kelly Tagato, which was committing felony obstruction. Boxing and DHS agents discusses the incident and how the agent was able to get away. Then she encourages others to do the same. I'm shocked she hasn't been arrested yet and charged with felonies. These videos and their Facebook posts are signed confessions. They also confessed what they had done to the local TV station, which is verified with local cops that the couple and their mob at the very least committed an act of coercion, blocking another person, any person, from freely moving. A reminder, there will be no need for as many ICE and Border Patrol actions as there are if Oregon, Washington, California had not invited into their states the millions of unvetted illegal aliens led in by Joe Biden. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You can look it up. No King's violence predicted. Federal judge blocks guard. A radical group 50-51 was believed to be directly responsible for the violence at Portland's ICE headquarters now claims, hey, it isn't us. They, along with the organizers behind Saturday's No Kings protests, say they called for no violence. They haven't proposed canceling the events, however. So much money has gone into those full-page ads and other expenses after all. Well, who's paying for Antifa and why are they protected by progressives? Let's look at the books. Well, and then there were the pre-planned, the federal judge in Oregon who previously concluded that she could stop the National Guard from protecting ICE and other agents housed at the ICE facility in Southwest Portland, extended her order that was set to expire on the No Kings planned riot day. Independent reporter Andy No reported that the anarchists tried to co-opt the event on that day. 50501 organizers say that they will not be meeting at the ICE facility after alternative flyers were distributed, falsely claiming the official protest would be held there. Now, the No Kings protest site on Portland's waterfront is a spitting distance from the ICE facility. Even those purple-haired septuagenarians can handle that walk. The No King behind the No Kings protest. Organizers of the No King protest, brought to you by the Invisible Project, a Soros and other big left-funded supported group. The same groups that fund the Democrats are taking cover in case its violent past is prologue for Saturday's events. I'm kidding, of course, there will be violence. Before the June No Kings protest, elected leaders from all the West Coast, West Coast states called for peace and denounced violence, and that was not to be, however. The man who carried out the 2 deletions of elected Minnesota Democrat State Representative Melissa Hortman was the deciding vote not to give free health care to illegal aliens, and her husband Mark had No Kings flyers on the backseat of his car. 2 other lawmakers were wounded in his other attack. Depopulating the PDF island. It's not Washington State has fewer predatory PDFs. It is the prison officials want to empty the facility on McNeil Island, where high-level sex of whatever are sent after their days in prison are up. This means the sickos are rehomed in homes and halfway houses in neighborhoods around the state. This also means the state attorney general is letting it happen, choosing not to contest the freeing of predators who can't be fixed. Such is the case with the notorious South Hill rapist, just let out of confinement and is free to roam anywhere he pleases in Washington, as well as Randy Smith, now an elderly child rapist, whose 3-year-old victim was so severely injured that she needed surgery. They can't be fixed, and there will be other victims. Texas won't tolerate either. They haven't ruined everything yet. My friend Honey Badger Mom on X brought my attention to this Oregon artist who recently died but left his riches behind. I'm not playing the music, but as you can guess, Northern Lights to Center Ridge Schoolhouse in Defer, Oregon. The video ended up going mainstream on MSN. Thank you all who have purchased a print. Enjoy the time lapse. Imagine. That is so beautiful. Don't you love it? Yeah, Texas won't tolerate it either. Absolutely, Tracy Spencer. We won't let it happen in Missouri, Minnesota, Mississippi. I can never remember. It used to be 3 letters and 3 or 4 letters, and now it's changed to like 2. And so I can never remember which one is which. Ever. That is one of the most beautiful sights, is it not? Look at that. The Northern Lights just rolling out there. Just love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So what we've got going on is, everybody, I'm going to dump you all over to go visit Mo, show her some love. As usual, we will be doing our Friday together. I think this week we are going over some Koberger documents on Wednesday. So that's going to be fun. Over on Mo and the Deep Ends is where we'll be at for that. We're keeping it where we're just doing these every other week to just sort of, give a little bit of break, because, nothing like we enjoy doing. Another graduate of Lynette School of Post Everything. Oh my God. Yeah, that's going to be, so this week will be insane because as you know, one thing that's coming up this week is Lynette is going to be supposedly in a hearing. We will see. Now, I did a nice little poll on this. Was it Thursday, or I think it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Saturday is the stream you want to watch. It was really good. And it was a sort of a midday stream that took a little bit of time. But be that as it may, we did a poll to see, who thought Lynette would show up to her hearing. Now, come to find out, which I was pretty positive of this, is that it was supposed to be an in-person hearing. Now, I'm pretty positive that that's still true, because nobody's asked to not be excused and do it by Zoom. Now, that could easily change, and then it would be up to the judge to grant it, but I don't think he's going to grant something at the last minute. But Wednesday is the day she's supposed to go into a hearing. Whether she does that or not, that is entirely on her. It's entirely on her. But I can tell you, I'm thinking pretty sure that this judge is done playing with her. Absolutely done playing with her, and does not have time for her shenanigans anymore. Man, I was just looking at this cool what do you call it, bench, and I was like, man, that bench looks familiar, because I've got a screenshot of it, and I'm looking at it. I was like, that bench looks familiar. Someone had tied it up with rope, and then I realized it's the bench that I rebuilt a couple years ago. It was I got it out of the trash. It was broken, and all the boards on it were jacked up, and I installed new boards on it. Zoom is only for the video recording purpose. Exactly. It was an in-person. Jeremy confirmed. Zoom is only for the video recording purposes, right? And I hope that she shows up too, for her own good, because I mean, those court fees are bounding up, and she's getting bad advice from some idiots that don't seem to know the difference. But they've been getting it wrong on so many levels anyway. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of court filings that come out prior to that, because it looks like little not so little, whatever, people are wanting to do violent things. I don't understand these kinds of silliness things that they're wanting to do. But we'll dig into that more tonight, and you'll see that I'll set up a stream at some point today. I just wanted to hang out with you wonderful people for a little bit this morning, and enjoy probably as did he ever go away? Back shots. It's probably his back shots. Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. But we'll see what exactly happens. John needs shots in his knees and has an appointment a week ago. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, we'll figure out what exactly is going on within the next 48 hours. We'll know. We'll know something a little bit more. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting week, most definitely. I will see you guys on the other side, and make sure you show Mo some love. Thank you so much for being here, and be nice to one another. Peace, you guys. Peace.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks
No
Larry.
way.
Shizzy broke Larry.